going to be quite a short recap video because I don't have an awful lot to say about this card, and I am frightfully busy, I'm afraid. Tut, Diego Nunes for his low blow, but other than that it was a good and enjoyable fight. Efrain Escudero, you know, I thought it was quite a back and forth match for the first 2 rounds, but he was not doing enough. The end of the 3rd round wasn't enough for him to take that bout, in my opinion. So I was right to go for Jacob Volkmann on that. Credit to Sean Pearson for making it all the way to decision with Dong Hyun Kim, particularly after the 2nd round, or more aptly the end of the 2nd round, where he was nearly finished. I did mention I thought Anthony Njokuani and Danny Castillo would be a close one. I also said that I thought Castillo would win, and he did. It was a split decision victory. It was very back and forth and quite a close fight. I think possibly what won it was Castillo's takedown, the numbers of takedowns that Castillo got. I think that may really have come down to that. Ross Pearson did a lot better than I thought he would, considering also that this was a debut for him at that particular weight class. He did remarkably in defending the takedown, and Asankeo by the 3rd round was getting quite frustrated, I think, really, because he either couldn't get Ross to the ground, or worse still, as soon as he got him to the ground, Ross Pearson would stand up. And then by the middle of the 2nd round, Ross was beginning to take him down, and he ended up not looking very pretty at the end of the match. So that was a surprise for me, whereas Nam Phan and Jim Hetz was not at all. The only possible surprise in that one was that Nam Phan was not actually finished. Because I did say that I thought he would be, this would be the first time we saw him submitted, and I think Jim Hetz tried extremely hard, but Nam Phan, despite coming off the worst, absolutely certain, he didn't get finished, and you have to give him a certain amount of credit for the amount of defence that he needed to execute successfully, not to have been finished, because it was sort of a submission fest, really. Every few minutes, Jim Hetz, when they were on the ground, was in mount, and then he was going to one submission or another submission, and by round 3 I think Nam Phan was quite tired. So you know, credit there. He's perhaps possibly, I've been a tad too hard on him in the past with some of my criticisms, but I was right in that that he didn't win. I've had a lot of people mention on my most recent predictions video that I have underestimated the wrestling capabilities of Johnny Hendricks, which has led some to question whether I do my homework or research. You know, I don't mind criticism, to be totally honest, so long as it's sort of not rude. if it's rude, then you generally tend to find, after I've told you a few times to behave, I'll just block you as a troll. But if your criticism is genuine and you are not rude, then we can always have a sort of discussion about it. And as was the case with a person whose name, whose screen name escapes me at present, and we were talking about Johnny Hendricks, and we were talking about how he is a Division 1 wrestler or something like that. I have to admit that it is impossible to know everybody on these cards, and I generally tend to focus on the ones that I know, and not so much the ones that I don't. Hence why I said, Volkman appeared from nowhere, because as far as I was concerned, before him being in the UFC, he was a nobody to me. Now, to other people who may have been following him in wrestling, he may have been something big. But I was never buying completely Johnny Hendricks as a wrestler on the ground versus John Fitch, it has to be said. And we may never know, because it never got to the ground at all. In fact, it barely got off to a start, period. I was laughed at a little when I said that Johnny Hendricks was known for being reasonably good on the feet. Well, now he'll be known for being reasonably good on his feet because of a highlight reel type knockout of John Fitch, sort of almost straight off the bat. I am giving him my Man of the Card award for that, because it was fantastic, and because, for me, that has at least shown that, I may not know, I may not be the world's most educated MMA person, that's true, but I do have an idea, and to be honest, my predictions, at least in the area of criticisms, have thus far all been right.